Come on and shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight with your award-winning host, Dale Davidson. Dale interviews fascinating guests from top-ranked celebrities to people just like you who have an important story to tell. For more than 15 years, Dale has broadcast every week from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. He finds the people who really make Las Vegas a one-of-a-kind city and lets the world know just what's happening in this remarkable town. You'll discover why 50 million people visit the entertainment capital of the world every year. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of Las Vegas Tonight.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. Each and every episode, we do everything we can to get you fascinating guests. We've outdone ourselves this time. We're at Freedom Fest here in Las Vegas, and we have Jeff Hewitt, who is the highest held office for a libertarian in the United States, by far. Jeff, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you, Dale.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. So tell us why a county supervisor in California is the highest office for a libertarian to hold in the United States right now.
Well, first of all, Dale, I'll tell you, I've been a libertarian all my life.
Have you really?
I registered as a libertarian when in 1972, when we had our first presidential candidate, John Hospers.
Oh, okay.
And I was at San Diego State. I was a student down there.
Yeah.
And I saw these two people that were running for president called Richard Nixon and George McGovern.
Yeah.
And then there was this other thing, and I read about what this guy was all about, this libertarian
What's
party.
a libertarian?
What's a libertarian? A librarian, libertine, what, you know? And I was absolutely amazed. I go, wait, they can't have a party like this.
Yeah.
This makes too much sense. So I voted. And he got some percentage less than 1% or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've been a registered libertarian and voted libertarian all my life.
Wow.
So
the party just lined up exactly with your views, or did your views evolve once you became a libertarian?
It aligned with my views. I was a very, very independent person who had started my own business at 18.
Wow.
I had adventure throughout my life, having a cabin in Mexico and growing up in a one-room school up in the mountains. So the world to me had been half Tom Sawyer and half Indiana Jones. And so to me, I didn't want a government that was going to quell who people are or that spirit or your individuality or what we call freedom.
Freedom, indeed.
And I saw this, and so now fast forward several decades. You know, I'm 66 years old now, but
you don't look it. You look great.
Well, now who's a politician? You know,
it's true though. It's true.
But thank you. But what I found out was this.
Yeah.
I thought libertarians have always been going about it wrong. They thought that just based on their principles, which we have phenomenal principles, they're the same principles that our forefathers had.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, arguably, Thomas Jefferson was probably the greatest libertarian of all.
Yeah.
However,
very much constitutionalist.
Very constitutionalist, and leave people alone as long as they're not hurting anybody else. Let's don't impose the way we think should be on them.
Okay.
You see, and that actually leads to good final solution. So what happened was, I would talk to my libertarian friends, and they say, Jeff, we're not supposed to win. We're supposed to influence enough to where maybe the Republicans need us, and then we can say, hey, look, you need our little 5% or whatever, and
give us a seat at the table.
And maybe we can incorporate something like vouchers for schools. You see, vouchers for schools. And that would make us the kingmaker.
Okay.
Well, that's cool. I still vote in libertarian. In 2010. I had an opportunity. I was asked to run for city council in my small city in Riverside County.
Right.
And I got elected. So now I'm a libertarian. I'm in office.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to change the world. But then I realized there's 4 other people on that dais.
Yeah.
There's 4 others. So 1 is not a majority in 5.
You're gonna learn about cooperation.
So I started learning about acronyms and the way the government works, and I came to the conclusion that the most important thing for me as any policymaker was to develop good, solid relationships with my colleagues.
Yeah.
Not say, look, taxation is theft, or we've got to legalize prostitution and drugs right now. No, not that at all. Yeah. Which a lot of times the Libertarian Party had tried to say, hey, our way or the highway. No.
Yeah, right.
So I got on that council, and over the course of several years, I did start building up really good friends there.
Right.
It wasn't until 5 years in when they made me mayor, they chose, for instance, the average CAL FIRE firefighter, people don't know this, but in total compensation and salary, overtime, and benefits is around $200,000 a year.
Wow.
$200,000 a year for what's really a part-time job, because these full-time firefighters are at home 20 days out of 30. Yeah. They are being paid for every minute they're at the station.
Wow.
Which most of the time they're not on a call.
Right, yeah.
So we were forced to put a third firefighter on our one fire truck at our one fire station.
Right.
And that was going to cost us $750,000 a year. And we only have a $5.5 million budget for everything, for potholes, for paying other staff, everything else. So I said, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, we need to do something different.
We actually contracted with the county who had CAL FIRE.
Okay.
And we told the county, we said, we can't do that. They said, look, and I tried to work with them. I said, can we, we're helping this one city out. And they said, we might we'll pay 1/3 or this or that.
Right.
Nothing ever came from it. There were a lot of empty promises.
Okay.
And it came down to where they said, you've got to raise the funds yourself. Put a tax on them. I'm a libertarian.
That's always the solution, isn't it? Put a tax on. Yeah.
So I said, there's no way. Yeah. Because I was thinking of the retired men and women that lived in trailer parks making $18,000 or $20,000 a year on Social Security.
Yeah.
And I'm going to justify adding another firefighter that we didn't need, 3 shifts to nearly $750,000 in cost.
I don't think
I can't wash that off. I can't take a shower and clean that off.
Yeah, yeah.
So for a year and a half, once I convinced my colleagues to commit political suicide, because every elected will tell you it is political suicide to take on fire, the heroes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I convinced them to do that. I convinced my staff. I built a great team.
That's wonderful.
And for a year and a half, we pulled off one of the greatest coups that have been done in the last 30 years in California.
How did you solve it?
Well, so we looked at it, and I said, let's check our, I'd love to make our new fire department have defined contribution 401k pensions, because these CalPERS defined benefit pensions are killing everybody. They're unsustainable.
Yeah.
So I said, let's look at our CalPERS contract. And lo and behold, we had an exemption for public safety.
Really?
They assumed that we were always going to have sheriff and fire contracted to the county, so it wasn't an issue.
Wow.
I said, oh my gosh, you mean if we pull this, we'll actually be able to have sustainable pensions? That was even a bigger drive for me to get this done. Now the union, very powerful, did everything they could to crush us. How dare you leave us?
Yes, yeah.
And there were several times where they tried to pull the rug out from others through, and because the team that I'd built, and because of thousands and thousands of swimming pools that I'd built in the decades before that, each one needing on-site engineering to fix a problem, either in the digging conditions, the access, finding dump sites, whatever else.
Yeah, yeah.
This became fairly easy for me to come up with the solutions.
Yeah.
But I had to be there.
You had experience in business.
I had experience in business and solving problems.
Yeah, yeah.
And so after a year and a half, we formed out. It was one of the greatest days in the middle of the night on January 1st. CAL FIRE drove their fire truck out.
Wow.
And we're sitting there, and we drove our brand new fire truck in with, we were staffing it now with 4. It was so much more efficient, what we were paying and everything, because you can let me tell you a secret about firefighters. In California, everybody wants to be one because it's great pay. It's a part-time job. You can have another business, and you're a hero everywhere.
Yeah. People love firefighters.
No, it is the best job on the planet.
Yeah.
And it shows in the free market when the city of Long Beach 3 years ago had 12 spots open on their fire department.
Yeah.
You know how many people applied for those 12 spots?
No idea.
10,000 people. It is easier to get on American Idol in the top 12 than it is to get a. So you have to you have to know somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to have an uncle or somebody to even have a chance.
A political connection.
So you say, how could you let market forces pay something that 70% of the United States does for free as volunteers?
Yeah.
Because the oppressive power of that union over electeds.
Yeah.
Because they say, don't go against us or you'll never get reelected.
Yeah. And we'll make sure, it's extortion in a way.
It is extortion.
Yeah. It's really interesting that, first of all, you learned politics sort of on the job.
Yeah.
You learned about log rolling and cooperation and compromise and so on. But your background sounds like, when you were talking about the one-room schoolhouse, that you truly were kind of an independent even as you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so growing up, I was a third generation, Redlands, California. My grandfather was born there in 1888.
Wow.
His uncle came out with the founders of Redlands, Judson and Brown, because he had gone to Princeton, or Yale, I believe it was, Yale with Judson, and he was the head engineer on the original Big Bear Dam.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so when it was built in 1883 or whatever, it was the largest man-made reservoir in the world.
Wow.
And it was there for the vineyards of Redlands and Moreno Valley.
Oh, okay.
So my history is very, you have to almost be a Native American to have been there before I was. So I had this really, connection. When I was 5, we moved up to the mountain community, a small apple. Actually, my next door neighbor was the actress Susan Anton.
Really?
Or Anton.
Okay. Anton, yeah.
And so
she lives here now, by the way, in Las Vegas.
She does. That's right.
Yeah.
And so she was like 3 years ahead of me in high school.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
She looks great. So you figure out how old she is. And Susan, you're not paying me to say that.
Yeah,
but anyway,
that's right. She's still a beauty. Yeah.
So like I say, growing up, when we played Cowboys and Indians, the older brothers got to be the cowboys because they got to use BB guns. And then the younger brothers, we had to make our own bows and arrows out of just sticks and things. And so we all had horses, and they would ride up to the old miner's shack up by the little dam.
Yeah.
And they would get in this old miner's shack and sit in the window. And we would do anything. Little brothers, to play with the big brothers, we'll do anything. So by the time...
Even if it's dangerous.
Oh, gosh, I had so many BB gun wounds by the end. And we never got one arrow even close to going through a window to take out an eye. You see what I mean? But this is all leading up to what I'm saying. You have to be tough.
Yeah.
You have to have bullets. Thank goodness they bounce off you when they're BBs. I think there was one or two that might have stuck a little bit, But see, this is the kind of childhood I had. It was
what a great childhood. Yeah.
And then, like I say, by the time we're 10, we drove to the tip of Baja, California. My folks took us out of school for 2 months with another family, and we drove all the way down the dirt road 1,000 miles.
Wow.
And we ended up
camped along the way.
We camped along the way, and then we had this one place, Bahia de Los Angeles, which is about 200 miles south of San Felipe on the Sea of Cortez.
Right.
We loved it so much, we came back and they built a little beach house that we leased for like 5 years.
Wow,
and
that's awesome.
Every day I got out of school between the years of 10 and 16, we were in Bahia de Los Angeles, and it was everything at SeaWorld. I swam with live in that bay. It was a primordial soup. It was really something.
Really?
Oh,
really?
yeah.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Like I say, by the time I was 16, I had a wonderful life. I couldn't ask for a better life.
Yeah.
But then it's time to go ahead and, get out of high school and go to college.
Yeah.
My mother had beat into me the fact that I was going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
So I started at San Diego State, pre-med.
Yeah.
And I was not an honors student, so I was going to have to pay my way through college.
Yes.
And I had a Bobcat tractor that I bought from my father that I was very good on. And I said, I think I'll start digging all these pools. Well, this is the
next
story.
thing you know, you're in the business.
Oh, well, there's 29 different pool companies in San Diego County at that time. And I go, oh my goodness, I'm going to go get me some. I'm going to go dig their tight access ones that they are digging by hand now.
Yeah.
Save them some money and make a lot of money for myself.
Sure.
So I went to the first 28 pools over the course of about 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I was an 18-year-old kid. I went into every one of those pool companies, and they all said, get out of here, kid. We don't know what a Bobcat is, but we don't care. You're wasting our time.
Yeah.
So I came to the 29th pool company.
Yes.
It was Sunset Pools, one of the big three, and there was a guy named Walt Jenkins, who was their construction supervisor.
Yeah.
And I told him, and he says, why don't you come back in the wintertime when I have a little bit more time to talk to you? So I walked over and I stood in the doorway. And about 5 minutes later, he looks up and he says, I thought I told you to get the heck out of here. And I said, I've got nowhere to go. You're the last company. And he goes, are you going to stay there till I have you removed, or if I give you a chance? And I go, I would rather you give me a chance. You know, no, I didn't give him the option of the other. I decided I would rather you have you. And so he goes, I'll tell you what. He says, I've got this muck out. It's rained up in North County. The steel's in the pool.
Yeah.
And see what this little bobcat thing can do. See if you can get that mud out of there.
Yeah.
So I went up there.
And did
I
it.
got the mud out, tore the heck out. He comes up, he goes, oh my gosh, you really messed this up. Maybe this thing will dig a pool. Tell you what, tomorrow, I'm going to have my guys go out in Santee, East County.
Yeah.
And we'll see what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, give me a bill. It was going to be $700.
Yeah.
Hand digs were $900 and regular digs were $285.
Right.
This is 1971 or 2.
Yeah.
And so
that's pretty good money for that year.
Listen, I was making $3 an hour, which was a great job doing something.
That's right.
So my buddy
Jeff,
and I...
we need to take a brief break.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll be back with Jeff Hewitt, who is County Supervisor Jeff Hewitt in Riverside County, right after these messages. Hello, I'm Dale Davidson, the host and producer of the Christian TV show Las Vegas Tonight. I'd like to take a moment right now to talk to families. First, to the parents, grandparents, and others who watch over and care for our precious children, child development experts say that children won't become fearful if you remain calm and reassuring. They say that you should answer your child's questions openly and honestly while staying positive and upbeat. And now, to all the kids who are watching, your mom and dad and everyone who cares for you are making sure that you're safe. It's very important to them that you're happy and healthy because they love you very, very much. You know, an important way to feel better when you're scared is to talk to God. Let's say a prayer together now. Dear God, please take care of me and all the people I love. Help me to be strong when I hear or see scary things. I know that the people who love me are doing everything they can to keep me safe. Please give them the strength they need to be brave whenever they need to protect me. Thank you, God, for always loving me. Amen, and God bless you. We are in the midst of some very difficult times, facing tougher challenges than most of us have ever seen. We're very worried about our health, our families, our safety, our finances, and the future of our nation. You know, Jesus told us that we would have some very serious troubles. In the Bible, in the book of John, chapter 16, verse 33, he says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. He means that he walks with you through all the troubles you're facing right now. He wants you to be at peace and to trust him. He's the real answer when you are struck with tragedy, or you're scared, or you've lost hope, and you just don't know where to turn. He's telling you to turn to him. Now that you're at home much of the time, talk to God. That's what prayer is. Read his book, the Bible. The book of John is a great place to start. It tells us all about Jesus, the Son of God, and what he did when he was here on earth. You'll learn that Jesus came to live with us in order to show us how to spend eternity with him in heaven. To become a follower of Jesus Christ is very simple. You say a prayer and really mean it. Would you join me now in that prayer? Dear Lord Jesus, I am a sinner. I ask you for your forgiveness. I believe that you died for my sins and rose from the dead. I turn from my sins starting right now and invite you to come into my heart and my life. I wish to trust and follow you as my Lord and Savior. Amen. If you've said that prayer, you've been born again. Turn to Jesus now for the answers you so desperately need. You'll be glad you did. And welcome back to Las Vegas Tonight. We have County Supervisor, the highest elected office currently ever held by a Libertarian, Riverside County in California. Jeff Hewitt with us, and we've been digging into his life, which we were talking about digging at the moment. So tell me about the pool business and how it went with the what was the name of the company?
Sunset Pools.
Sunset Pools, yeah.
So Dale, so what happened was I got this done in one day, and I bring back this bill for $700
Right.
from Walt Jenkins. And he goes, I told you to bill me when it's done. I said, it is done. So he gets out there, he drives out there, and he goes, I got 3 more for you. Walt Jenkins was my full partner, a 45-year-old man with an 18-year-old kid, college student, 3 months later. I went from making $3 an hour to $300 in a day.
Wow,
I'm still chasing that first high.
That margin.
But the moral of that story is people say, in fact, I served on a panel earlier this week that said libertarian insanity. You know, we've been trying something for 47 years, it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
You know,
definition of insanity, yeah.
And that you know, it's time to move on and do ballot measures or something. You can't get anybody elected.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that when I learned that you don't stop after the first, second, third, or 28th time, you exhaust all of your options.
All your possibilities.
And that changed today.
Yeah.
Remember, it took me 29 companies to convince somebody to try that.
Yeah.
Today in California, 90 to 95% of all pools are dug by skid steers. I was the original.
Yeah.
To start something, you see, you have to be bold. You have to believe in yourself.
Yes.
You have to believe in yourself.
And you have to be persistent.
And you have to be persistent.
Yeah.
And I believe in libertarian values. I believe in the Libertarian Party. And for 47 years, they hadn't had much success.
Yeah.
But now I'm having great success.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go ahead and get other people to believe that this is the way to go.
Oh, and you lived it. You know, I think that's what one of the things that's made you bold. You know, when you decided you could win an election. Now, after you were mayor, and how many terms were you in?
So I was in for 2 full 4-year terms.
Okay.
And the last 3 years, it's considered a weak mayor, because you're not elected by the people.
You had a
on the
city.
body. Each year they reorganize and they choose one person as their mayor, one person as their mayor pro tem.
Okay.
So I was the first person in the 27-year history of our city to be mayor 3 years in a row.
Wow, that's great.
And so I would say that a weak mayor is stronger than a strong mayor, because you already have at least 2 people on that board with you that think you should be mayor.
Yeah.
So you kind of have a little bit of a consensus going in.
Yeah.
You know, but
you count noses most of the time, you're going to be okay. Yeah.
That's right. And so when I went ahead, and I actually did run in 2014 as a libertarian for the state senate in a special election.
All right.
Now,
There was an empty seat?
well, he was resigning.
I see.
He didn't like it anymore. He'd had enough. There was a Republican named Bill Emerson.
Yeah, okay.
And my wife said, hey, you
Now's
want
your chance.
Yeah, this should be a smaller, less expensive. So I raised $18,000, which by libertarian standards is pretty darn good.
Is $1 million.
Yeah. And I ran against 4 others, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
And on election day, I was crushed.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to somehow figure out how to get in the top 2, and then I could.
Get in
I got
runoff.
6.5%.
Right.
The gentleman that won it in that special, he had 65%. He was a sitting assemblyman who had $400,000 of the state party's money to spend.
Wow.
And he just killed all of us. But
Yeah,
I did beat
yeah.
one Republican. She
Is that
only
right?
got 5%. She's a good friend of mine now. She's the mayor of San Jacinto.
Oh,
so
okay.
at least I come out and go, well, I beat somebody. But then 2 years later, okay, well, going back, 3 days after that crushing defeat,
Right.
I'd been asked to speak at the state convention for California up in Visalia.
For libertarian.
Yes.
Party.
Now, I'm just getting involved in the party. I've been a
Right.
registered libertarian. But so I called them up. I said, hey, I lost. You guys still want me to speak? And they go, oh, no, you're elected libertarian. You're on the. We want you to speak. Nah, don't worry. Kind of like you're going to lose anyway. No. And so I got up there.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting, this is my libertarian moment.
Yes.
Remember, I was already a libertarian.
For years.
But this is
right?
my moment,
Yeah.
is when we come on in the main room, and there's 70 or 80 delegates there. You know, it's
Right.
Visalia. You know where Visalia is.
Sure, I do know.
And
yeah.
Gary Johnson, who ran for president in 2012, this is 2014, he comes on this giant screen, and he's Skyping, and he says, you know, people get up to the microphone, and they're asking him questions. I was the last one to come up to the microphone. I said, hello, Gary. You know, I'm Jeff Hewitt. I'm a city councilman in the city of Calimesa, and I just ran for state senate. And everybody in that room broke out in the biggest applause I'd ever heard.
Really?
I was theirs.
Yeah.
This party had hooked me.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker. I knew I was
I'm never leaving.
I knew I was in my home, and at that point I pledged myself to join this movement and do everything I could to advance it and make it the party for everybody in the world.
Yeah.
Because it is the only party that looks forward to the future and respects people's rights. And embraces peace and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But that was the moment. And Gary's kind of looking like, who the hell's this guy?
Yeah.
You know, and
but it was a wonder.
That was my moment.
An epiphany for you.
It was an epiphany.
Yeah,
so 2 years later, I ran for state assembly.
Yeah.
I raised $18,000 again.
Yeah.
I was running against the incumbent,
which is always hard.
Who was the minority leader.
Okay.
But I got some more skills because I had a debate with a Democrat at a Tea Party Patriot Club.
Okay.
The incumbent wasn't going to come. You don't even deal with, you know.
Yeah.
And they said that was the best debate they'd ever seen, even on TV.
Really?
Yeah. So,
really?
you know, so I had a lot of respect for the Democrat. We had a great time. It was, you know, it wasn't about, it was about issues. And that's what, you know.
The way it's supposed to be.
So I got 7.5%. So do the math now. 2014, I get 6.5%. 2016, I get 7.5%.
Right.
So I extrapolated it out, and I figured I was going to be 176 before I actually won a race. So you don't have to.
Every 2 years.
You don't have.
That's
you don't
hilarious,
have to be
Jeff.
a genius with math to figure out I'm probably not going to live to be 176.
Probably not.
And we could have 3 world wars before then or whatever. So, you know, I changed my direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to wait. And this opportunity came up here in 2018, where an incumbent, 16-year incumbent, was retiring. It was going to be an open seat. It was nonpartisan, which means libertarians actually have a chance to win.
Yeah, that's a brilliant way to go.
And here's even a better part of it.
Yeah.
It's one of the few offices that have no limits on contributions.
Really?
No limits for one person.
Wow.
So I had made a good connection to one of the largest libertarian donors, Chris Rufer. And I don't know if you know him. He's the tomato. You can call him a tycoon or whatever, but he can. Yeah. He owns. He's built up. He's a self-made billionaire, I believe, and he is. He's built 2 or 3 huge tomato processing plants that process as much as a third or half of all the tomatoes consumed in the United States.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's a very good success of America.
Good guy to have on your team.
Great guy, but he's very libertarian. You know, very passionate about his libertarian views.
Yeah.
And he has put money behind, but to convince him to put it behind a partisan race is tough because he likes having that L out there. He likes having, you know, that candidate statement that says what libertarian values are.
Yeah.
And I'd done that, and he'd given me, you know, like $2,500 per election.
Race,
and he knew I wasn't going to win, but at least I'm out there and I'm putting those on the ballot.
Yeah.
So I talked to him and I said, hey, Chris, I can win this. I ended up getting almost $250,000 from this man.
Wow.
And that was nearly half.
That's a believer.
Oh, well, but that was the seed money to get me viable.
Yeah.
And then I got another $250,000 from other, you know, mostly non-libertarian people. I didn't take one dime of union money, and I didn't take one dime of cannabis or marijuana money.
Oh, good.
Because even though I'm a libertarian, and I think, you know, what you put in your body is up to you as long as you don't hurt somebody, I didn't want to be defined by one thing because we have a very, very conservative electorate there.
Yes.
I want to make it about those things that we can all relate to and make government better.
All right.
So I ended up raising, between the primary and the general election, about $550,000.
That's a lot of
money. My opponent
Yeah.
raised $1.3 million.
Wow.
And he had the entire Republican machine in California, and nobody thought I was going to win except my campaign manager.
Wow.
And he somehow convinced me that I was going to win, because if you don't convey that, people aren't going to vote for somebody that doesn't.
Your wife believed, though, right?
You know, boy, you're putting me on the spot. You are putting me on the spot. I'll tell you what, my wife, and when they say behind every man there's a good woman, I cannot state how much that applies.
Yeah.
She is the one that has always believed in me as much as I believe in her.
Yes.
And that made me
Great
at least twice, at least twice as strong. But you get this libertarian young activist who, when we met, his name's Boomer Shannon, on the executive committee, we almost killed each other. We were the two alphas. I mean, oh my goodness. And so after about a year of clashing, we kind of looked at each other and, we kind of want the same thing.
Yeah.
We both love people. We want to give them back their freedom.
Sure.
Let's start working together.
Let's find a way to do it.
So when I asked him to be my campaign manager, that is where my campaign changed.
Really?
I had a political genius.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
And he says, Jeff, look, you got 3 jobs. You go out, you smile, you shake hands, you ask people for money, you speak at all these events,
right?
And I do everything else.
That's
I will
great.
bring the messaging, I will bring it by you, whatever, but, oh, and by the way, on our canvassers that the team we're going to put together, I need you in there at least every other day to come in and talk to the troops.
Great.
I listened to that man.
Yeah, and you did what he said.
And we ended up on election night. First of all, I had my election victory party 2 hours before the first numbers would come out for a reason, because I didn't know which way it was going to be.
Yeah, sure.
I knew
it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and so I thought, if it goes south, at least we'll be drunk after 2 hours, and people will stick around, because you don't want to waste a good party, right?
That's right.
So I am so glad I did that, because I'm sitting there, and it's 8 o'clock's coming up, and Boomer, my campaign manager, he says, Jeff, it's time to get up and give a speech. I go, well, we don't know. We don't have any numbers. He goes, your speech is going to be the same anyway. You're thanking everybody,
Yeah.
So I get up there and I start speaking, and I have about 120 people there at a friend's house, and it's outdoors.
Sure.
We had this big screen that they're going to show the numbers on.
Oh, yeah.
So about
it's exciting. It's an exciting night.
Listen, 2/3 of the way through my speech, everybody's faces kind of changed. I'm thinking, boy, I'm not speaking seriously. But what I didn't know was behind me, the numbers came up.
Oh, okay.
And the first numbers were catastrophic.
Yeah.
It showed me 13 percentage points down.
Right.
13 percentage points down.
Wow. And they're thinking the night's over.
And I'm so glad I didn't turn around then and go, oh my God, okay, everybody go home, it's over, But so when I was done, they all clapped, and I went over, and Boomer says, Jeff, look. I go, oh my gosh, we're done. He goes, no, we're going to get a lot of provisionals. I think because in the primaries, I'd come back from 7 points down to come within a percentage point. I came in second, but and the top 2 go on.
Okay, it was a runoff. Yeah, all right.
So I stayed there, drank quite a bit more, went home very, very, totally depressed, and went to sleep. When I got up the next morning, I looked on my phone, there were a bunch of messages, and I'd come within 360 votes of him. Just overnight, with all the poll places that came in.
Yeah.
And so then, over the next 30 days, was the longest 30 days I had, because it slowly went up. It first went down to 760 votes, and then I finally went in the lead for the first time in the whole campaign, 3 weeks after Election Day.
Wow.
And when all the votes were counted, I ended up beating him by 4,000 votes, almost 4% of the
Really?
entire.
Really?
Yes.
You didn't have a recount.
I beat him by enough so that if it would have been 100 votes or something, but it was well over 4,000.
Wow.
So
that's fantastic.
We pulled off a great comeback, and that's how I got in this position.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We need to take another brief break. We'll be back with Jeff Hewitt right after these messages. The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order. Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. For more information, call 702-480-9999 3989. Thank you, and God bless you. Hi, I'm Dale Davidson, host of Las Vegas Tonight. You know, radio has an enduring place in the heart of America. Sometimes it's music that can enliven your spirit or keep you company when you need some. More often for me, it's just been the right spoken word or two that can quiet my mind and soul. Radio brings me a reassuring word in the quiet of night or a welcoming voice early in the morning as I shake off the night's sleep and find my way into God's purpose for my day. And always, I find the best radio station is the one that brings me the best news, the gospel of Jesus Christ. My favorite radio station is KKVV in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's still right where it's been for years, at 1060 on the AM dial, hovering over Sin City like a gospel airship, broadcasting the good news of the abounding love that Jesus Christ has for every single one of us. No matter who you are or where you live, you can receive God's Word via the KKVV Gospel Airship. Just go to kkvv.com and click on Listen Live. KKVV is using all the tools that God's provided them, like podcasting and video streaming and video on demand, to produce programs that lift up our fellow believers and save the lost. If you feel a calling to speak to others about Jesus Christ on your very own show, pick up the phone and call the station. They'll be happy to tell you how. Call KKVV today at 702-731-5588 or drop them an email at kkvvradio@hotmail.com. Please join me in becoming part of the KKVV family. You'll be glad you did.
Dale Davidson and the team at Las Vegas Tonight firmly believe that the only solution to today's serious problems is the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Dale carefully selects his guests on the show, making sure that their dedication to our Lord is heartfelt and genuine, and that their ministries are making a strong and positive difference in the world. Dale doesn't charge anyone to be on Las Vegas Tonight. The cost to produce and air the programs are covered by donations from our ministry's partners. We thank you so much for your financial support, and most of all for your prayers. Please consider becoming a partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries for just $40 per month. For a little more than $1 a day, you'll be helping us bring the good news of Jesus Christ to millions of people around the world. The television networks that broadcast the program reach from coast to coast in the United States, and through internet apps cover the entire world. Your $40 monthly contribution entitles you to Dale's newsletter that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the production of Las Vegas Tonight and inside information on the exciting guests Dale interviews on every episode. You'll also receive a copy of Dale's book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, an in-depth look at 10 of Dale's most intriguing guests, plus a very personal story of how Dale came to Christ and the challenges he faces in bringing the good news to the world. Become a partner of our ministry today by going to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries website and clicking on the Donate button, or by emailing Dale at dale@lasvegastonight.tv. Or you could write him at Dale Davidson, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. Thank you for watching Las Vegas Tonight, and may God bless you abundantly.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Tonight. Boy, we have a great guest. I hope you watched the first two segments, because Jeff Hewitt has just blown us away. The most constituents, right, for any libertarian office holder in the U.S. ever.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it is.
That's impressive. You know, that's impressive. Yeah.
Well, we all look at, we think we know politics, and we
Right.
look at in a pyramid, you have your chief executive, the president,
Right.
in American politics.
Right.
And below that, we would usually say, even over the vice president, you probably have Senate Majority Leader or the
Right.
Speaker of the House.
Right, yeah.
But then you look at, national senators or Congress members,
Right.
and then you go down to each of one of the 50 states, and you have a governor, which is a chief executive.
Sure,
And then
yeah.
you have most states.
Assembly members.
You have
Yeah,
assembly
yeah.
or Senate. You have
Right.
bicameral houses, except for Nebraska is the only one.
That's right, unicameral.
They're
Yeah,
unicameral.
yeah.
And then you get down to local offices. And
Okay.
local offices usually start when you're going down the pyramid
Okay.
at the county commissioner, county supervisor's office,
Right.
then right on down to a little town council or whatever.
Right.
Well, I'm a county supervisor, but again, number of constituents and stuff is more like a congressman.
Yeah.
But actually say over people's lives,
Yeah.
I only have 5 people that I divide that decision-making between. If you're in Congress, you got to convince over 200 others. That's a tough go.
Yeah.
That's a tough go.
Yeah, yeah. And let's talk about how you do that. And, there's such a divisiveness in American politics right now.
Right.
And libertarians are not really part of that, which, thank the Lord, you're not really. But civility is something that we need to encourage, and I believe. And you've lived that, Jeff, and you've made things happen in your county. How should political office holders do that?
Okay, I'll give you a short little primer on how I do that. And I
Okay.
think obviously, if I think it's right for me, I think it's right for most people. We're all different. We all have different experiences. We've all grown up with biases and realities that happened to us that didn't happen to other people.
Yeah.
And you're a kind of accumulation of that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
a lot of people, they have a political ideology,
Right.
and that ideology generally begins with what their parents were.
Sure.
When I
yeah.
was watching as a kid Nixon debate Kennedy in one of those
Right.
first debates.
I remember.
I remember
yeah.
being for Nixon because my parents were Republican.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
because I thought
yeah.
Nixon was any
Me
better
too.
than Kennedy.
Me too, yeah.
And
yeah.
of course, the real ironic part is now looking back in 2016, the 16 Republicans running for president,
Yes.
John F. Kennedy would have been the most fiscally conservative of any of them.
I know,
And,
isn't that
so
amazing?
there's
Yeah.
no real
Times change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I do is I start with the premise that everybody's my neighbor. I don't care if you identify as a Democrat, an independent, Republican, Libertarian. I don't care.
Right.
You
yeah.
see, I want to get to know you.
Yeah.
And it turns out, for instance, I was here at a conference last week,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
National Association of Counties.
Right.
What a coincidence. And I was talking to a county commissioner from Kent County, Michigan, which happens to be Justin Amash's.
Oh, okay. okay.
Grand Rapids and all
Sure,
that.
yeah,
and she
yeah.
identified it as a Democrat.
Right.
And she says, but I'm a moderate. She goes,
Yeah.
I'm pro-life, I'm pro-school choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, for crying out loud, you sound like a libertarian. A Michigan Democrat's not the same as a California Democrat.
Yes, that's
And
true.
she loves Justin Amash because
Yeah.
he's open and honest. He doesn't change. He doesn't go
Yeah.
like this. He
We
has
know
principles.
we
He has
know where he
principles,
stands.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so she said actually he has a very good chance of being reelected
Yeah.
as an independent
Wow.
because there's so many Democrats that will vote for him. Not
Yes.
just because of what he said against Trump, but because of who he is. And he's always
Yeah.
been a serviceable. So what I call that is trust.
Right. Okay.
You build up trust. Now, on my board, as luck would have it, I have 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and guess what? There's a Libertarian.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be the person that builds up a consensus or looks for compromises that benefit
Yeah. It's
the
almost
people
like
of Riverside County?
the Supreme Court that way.
Yes.
You're a swing vote, kind of, right?
I can
Yeah.
be a swing vote.
Yeah.
But I build up those relationships of trust. So if, there's certain things that my Democrat colleagues, they know I'm not going to go there on, but we have a little smile. We have a lot of respect, and I know where you're coming from. I'm not asking you to change your ideology.
Right.
I'm asking you to go ahead and trust me, and I'll trust you, so when we need each other on things that are very important, then we'll get good stuff done.
Yeah.
And I think that's a formula for, and we have fun doing it too. You wanted that collegiate.
Yeah,
I mean, the other day
They're happy to see you when you come in. That's what you want.
I was trying to fight a half-cent sales tax for road infrastructure because
Right.
we got plenty of taxes,
Yeah.
And my Democratic colleague, I had to leave real quickly and go see the CEO of Loma Linda University Hospital.
Oh, okay.
And I was running out the door, and he's going, read my lips, no new taxes. And he's laughing. I'm going, you son again, I'm going to get you next time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we can sit down and have a serious conversation.
Yeah.
And we're colleagues and we respect each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is left a good portion of capitals all over the United States.
Yeah. And at the state level, you know, there's personalities that can get along. They know they have to. There isn't a lot of posturing for the media. And what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now is just atrocious. You know, when was the last important thing, you know, a bill passed, you know? And that brings me to my next question. You're obviously a vote getter, right? Have you thought about Congress?
Well, Congress would be a step down for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I say, I'd be giving up the ability to change people's. No, I want to be effective at showing people that libertarians, when put into office, if they have any skills, they're going to get great things done.
So governor would be more.
Yeah, the only office that really carries more impact on policymaking for me right now would be governor of California.
Okay.
And if I were to run for that, say in 4 years or whatever. There would have to be a couple things that I'd have to do. I am working real hard right now. I ran on this, the unsustainable pensions.
Right.
CalPERS right now is $1 trillion unfunded. $1 trillion in California alone.
Whoa.
This is unsustainable. Everybody knows it, but nobody will take this on because they do not want to get the ire of the public employee unions.
Sure.
I don't work for them. I work for my constituents that have put their trust into me to go in there and build coalitions that can take on this monster. If I'm able to do that, I can walk into the state capitol with an L behind my name easily. You have to get things done. People want to trust you that you're not going to sell out, and they want to know that you have the skills to bring together and build a team.
Yeah.
And that's what we all are. We're on the same planet.
Yeah.
We really all want three things. We want safe neighborhoods, good schools, and a private sector that thrives, so we don't have to worry about what the minimum wage is.
Yeah, exactly.
But we will rip each other's throats out on who gets credit or how we're going to do it.
Right.
My take is no. I don't care who gets credit.
As long as it happens.
I want to see those things happen.
Yeah.
Because this country was founded on the ideas that there's the dignity of man, and each man or woman are born equal. They're born equal with that opportunity to go and thrive.
Yeah.
You know, what they attain, that's up to them.
Yeah, that's right.
But when you have a libertarian society where people respect each other, and remember this, you can only have as much freedom as you have, as your neighbors will allow you to.
Sure.
It behooves you to develop a relationship with your neighbors and start inviting them over to your barbecues.
Oh, there you go. And what we have in America, which seems to me the Democrats don't understand, socialists certainly don't understand, and that is we have equality of opportunity and not outcomes, you know, and I'm all for equality of opportunity. Give everybody a seat at the table. Give everybody a chance to make their $1 million or whatever it is, but there's no guarantee, you know. And
no.
People don't get that, I don't think, or they don't want to get it.
But you know what, I call it the lotto mentality.
Oh,
We've got all these lottos, and we've seen so many Native American tribes be given the exclusive right to casinos, and they've really prospered from that.
Yeah.
But what I've seen, and I've done a lot of pools in California, we have quite a few gaming tribes, and what has happened is they're starting to get it now, because when you first give somebody a whole bunch of money, whether it be through winning the lotto or anything, their lives go downhill.
Yeah, often.
Money does not.
Often,
Almost always. Almost always.
Yeah.
But you can't enjoy something any more than what you put into getting it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's the way life is. And everybody goes, oh, I'm not happy. No. Earn what you get. And always, when I see somebody that's really good at something, I come up and I tell them, hey, that's awesome. I wish I was that good. Or, you know, and then you look and you try to learn. And when you go through life at the end of the day, and I've told my kids this. I got 6 kids.
Right.
And my 7th grandkid is due any day. And you know what? I've told all my kids 2 things. Choose something that you're going to enjoy.
Right.
Not that's going to make the most money, but you want to go to work every day. And secondly, unless your house is on fire, when somebody needs a helping hand anywhere, whether it broke down or just getting beat up or anything else, you get involved.
Yeah.
because that's going to happen to you so many times. It's kind of a balance. Everybody does that, and really great things come from it.
Yeah, neighborliness, you know. Let's spend the last few minutes that we have, Jeff, talking about the future of the Libertarian Party. The party is, I guess, around 50 years old now.
It's getting close to 50 years old.
Close to 50 years old. It seems to me, and this is just my opinion, it seems to me that the biggest obstacle that the party has is name identification, you know?
Yeah.
What you stand for, but people, you know, who are maybe not that educated about libertarianism will go to the ballot box and they'll see the L and they really don't know what it means. So to me, the challenge is brand awareness, if you will.
Right.
Do you agree with that? Do you
I
see
do
a
agree.
solution?
We've had a problem with, well, first of all, we've had a problem with letting others define who we are.
Oh, okay.
In politics, if you're going to be successful, you define who you are.
That's right.
You don't let anybody. Newt Gingrich was phenomenal at that. If you've seen him in debates, I love the guy.
Yeah.
The guy is really
he was
define who you are.
Really
he was
good,
one of the best debaters I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the thing that we need to do is, and I'm very optimistic, based upon my own success.
Yeah.
You know, again, I consider myself a B- student. You know, a crippled old guy or whatever, but if I can do it, anybody can.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you truly embrace freedom and you want better things for the next generations, then we got to get out there. And this is what the Republican Party used to be. They had almost all libertarian values. You know, conservatism was wrapped around classical liberalism.
Yes.
And no one go into all that, but you know what I'm talking about.
I do, yeah.
And so, you know, if we can go ahead and sell these and brand these, that's why coming up, our presidential candidate, if we get somebody with already some name identification, a Justin Amash, who's very well spoken on these ideals, then we might get more people embracing that, and down the road have some success.
And they'll understand, you know.
But say I were to win as a libertarian, as the governor of California. At that point, everyone would start looking into libertarianism. Because if you can win something that high, and good things happen. In other words, you see the state become much more financially solvent. You see it, you know, just
the pension
measurable
problem
things.
gets solved, you know, whatever it is.
Then you say, look. You'll see people not only flipping, but you'll see libertarians coming out there. But I still tell libertarians, don't run for a high office unless you know what you're doing. Get in the trenches, get dirty, learn how to govern, and then, you know, we take over the world and let people live their lives.
There you go. That's all you got to do is take over the world.
That's what it is.
Boy, this has been great, and believe it or not, an hour has ripped by.
Wow.
So,
well,
thank you so much for coming on,
and
Jeff.
I appreciate Dale, and people like you are helping us along.
Thank you.
And I really, really thank you.
Thank you very much, and I wish you luck, Governor. He's a real bright spot in electoral politics. Jeff Hewitt is a wonderful guy. I think he has the right ideas, and we're really pleased to help if we can. God bless you all. We so appreciate you watching Las Vegas Tonight. And as I try to remember to say each and every episode, when it comes to Jesus, walk with him. God bless you. Hi, I'm Dale Davidson, host of Las Vegas Tonight. You know, radio has an enduring place in the heart of America. Sometimes it's music that can enliven your spirit or keep you company when you need some. More often for me, it's just been the right spoken word or two that can quiet my mind and soul. Radio brings me a reassuring word in the quiet of night or a welcoming voice early in the morning as I shake off the night's sleep and find my way into God's purpose for my day. And always, I find the best radio station is the one that brings me the best news, the gospel of Jesus Christ. My favorite radio station is KKVV in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's still right where it's been for years at 1060 on the AM dial, hovering over Sin City like a gospel airship, broadcasting the good news of the abounding love that Jesus Christ has for every single one of us. No matter who you are or where you live, you can receive God's Word via the KKVV Gospel Airship. Just go to kkvv.com and click on Listen Live. KKVV is using all the tools that God's provided them, like podcasting and video streaming and video on demand, to produce programs that lift up our fellow believers and save the lost. If you feel a calling to speak to others about Jesus Christ on your very own show, pick up the phone and call the station. They'll be happy to tell you how. Call KKVV today at 702-731-5588 or drop them an email at kkvvradio@hotmail.com. Please join me in becoming part of the KKVV family. You'll be glad you did.
Dale Davidson and the team at Las Vegas Tonight firmly believe that the only solution to today's serious problems is the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Dale carefully selects his guests on the show, making sure that their dedication to our Lord is heartfelt and genuine, and that their ministries are making a strong and positive difference in the world. Dale doesn't charge anyone to be on Las Vegas Tonight. The cost to produce and air the programs are covered by donations from our ministry's partners. We thank you so much for your financial support, and most of all for your prayers. Please consider becoming a partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries for just $40 per month. For a little more than $1 a day, you'll be helping us bring the good news of Jesus Christ to millions of people around the world. The television networks that broadcast the program reach from coast to coast in the United States, and through internet apps cover the entire world. Your $40 monthly contribution entitles you to Dale's newsletter that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the production of Las Vegas Tonight and inside information on the exciting guests Dale interviews on every episode. You'll also receive a copy of Dale's book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, an in-depth look at 10 of Dale's most intriguing guests, plus a very personal story of how Dale came to Christ and the challenges he faces in bringing the good news to the world. Become a partner of our ministry today by going to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries website and clicking on the donate button, or by emailing Dale at dale@lasvegastonight.tv, or you can write him at Dale Davidson, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. Thank you for watching Las Vegas Tonight, and may God bless you abundantly.
Come on and shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
You've been watching Las Vegas Tonight with your host, Dale Davidson. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of our show. We so appreciate your loyalty to our program. To keep Las Vegas Tonight on the air, please go to our website, vegassaints.org, and click the donate button. To send a check or money order, please make it out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries and mail it to 9030 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. To suggest a guest to appear on the show or any other suggestions or questions, write to Dale at dalewdavidson@yahoo.com or call him at 702-480-3989.
I can already feel you judging me, and not for what I've done in the past, but for what I'm about to do. I had what mattered, and I got careless. Like, I don't deserve more. I don't deserve sympathy. I don't deserve to be here.
Where the hell are you? Why aren't you answering your phone?
Jenna! What is the matter with you?
Someone once told me, you may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you're somebody's shot of whiskey.
Excuse me.
Ma'am, my car ran out of gas and I left my wallet at home. Could you please spare a couple dollars so I can refuel my vehicle?
I literally have nothing.
What's it gonna take to get you to join the program.
Get back, dog! If Jesus wanted you to have a dog, he would have blessed you with a bowl and a leash now, wouldn't he?
Social Media Shows is a production company based here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We offer these services. We've been streaming shows live in real time for over 4 years on major social media platforms and also on our website socialmediashows.com. And we are now on Roku TV. We welcome you to have your own show on our TV network. Call us 651-955-8743 or email us at admin@socialmediashows.com.
Morning shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight with your award-winning host, Dale Davidson. Dale interviews fascinating guests from top-ranked celebrities to people just like you who have an important story to tell. For more than 15 years, Dale has broadcast every week from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. He finds the people who really make Las Vegas a one-of-a-kind city and lets the world know just what's happening in this remarkable town. You'll discover why 50 million people visit the entertainment capital of the world every year. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of Las Vegas Tonight.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. Each and every episode, we do everything we can to get you fascinating guests. We've outdone ourselves this time. We're at Freedom Fest here in Las Vegas, and we have Jeff Hewitt, who is the highest held office for a libertarian in the United States, by far. Jeff, thank you for joining us.